Hey everyone, this is Matt, the Resale Champ, and I'm back with another video. This one is going to be a haul video, and I have actually posted about this some on Instagram. I did a couple live videos of this, and I've also done one or two posts on it. And I'm really excited to actually bring you the first YouTube on this haul. And what this haul was a giant extreme DVD haul that I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace. What I like to do, I like to source a lot on Facebook Marketplace. It's a great place. It's not as good, in my opinion, as it used to be. More people, more people are finding it, but they're also pricing their stuff higher. But you can find on occasion some really good stuff on Facebook. So what I did is I just happened to, now I don't do like, you can go in and schedule searches, say I want to be alerted when anything new shows up, or Star Wars, or whatever it is, your Lego, whatever it is you're searching for. I don't do that at all. But in my downtime, I like to open Facebook Marketplace, scroll through, and see if I see anything. And the other day, well, it's been a couple weeks now, I saw a post, and it was like these bins of DVDs. And I got to reading it, and it said it was over 2,000, it's like 2,100, mostly sealed DVDs. And I don't remember at this point if there was a price, but I want to say they said they wanted $1 a piece. They wanted to sell it as a bulk, which is what I wanted. I'm not going to go pick through. They wanted to sell it as a bulk lot, a bulk purchase, and they were asking $1 a piece. Well, typically, right, DVDs are really hard to make money on. And where I'm selling them would be on Amazon. And you do have to be ungated to sell DVDs on Amazon. And I've been on there now 5 years or 5+ years, actually 6+ years. And I just recently was ungated. So not just anybody can sell on there, but it's really hard to make money there with DVDs because Amazon sells a lot of them, and they'll sell them for $5 or $6, usually $10 or less, but a lot of times $5.99, $6.99 for new. So it's really hard to make money. Where the money is on out of print DVDs. And they need to be typically new and sealed if possible. That's where the bulk of the money comes from. So, any kind of bulk used DVD purchase is going to be hard to make money. So but what got me on this was that it said mostly sealed. So I reached out, I made contact, and I didn't want to pay $1 a piece because I was concerned without sight unseen. Now in the picture, I could look up, I could see titles of like 4 or 5 of them. Well, I looked up, and like 2 or 3 of the ones that I looked at were out of print and were selling for money. So that's why I decided to pursue it. Now, again, when you're buying 2,100, it's a big risk on buying a purchase off of 3 or 4 items that you could look up. But the two main things, well, anyway, first of all, I decided to pursue it. And I said, generally, I told her, look, I normally prefer to pay more like 25 cents a piece when buying in bulk. So she was at $1. I wasn't going to pay more than 50 cents, but I came in at 25 right off the bat. And I was like, look, this is really what I prefer to pay closer to $500. Well, she kind of bulked at that. It's like, look, I really want, I don't think that's going to work. I really need closer to $1. Anyway, we kind of left it at that. She came back to me and said what was the best I could do, and I went to $7.50, which was right at 35 cents a piece. Now, I wasn't going to process all these. I've got somebody who does it for me, and I pay her 50 cents an item. So I was factoring that into my cost. So at 50 cents plus the 35, I'm in it for under $1. I'm at 85 cents. And I figure worst case is if I have to offload these, I could try to sell them $1 a piece. or try to get my money back off of that. So that's kind of where I felt like my risk was fairly low, in that I felt like I could at least get my money back out of them. So we agreed to do it. I went, and it was a hour drive from where I'm at. So she's within an hour's driving distance. So I had to drive an hour to go look at these. And I was looking for two things. I wasn't going to sit there and scan them all. So I wanted to look at, one, condition, were they mostly sealed? And two, quantity, was it actually closer to 20, to the 2100? She was estimating like 100 per bin, and she had like 21 bins. Well, we get there, she had loaded them all in her truck. I'm looking at them, and a lot of them are like in boxes, they're not bins. And so it was really hard to judge, but I opened a couple of the bins, and I kind of did a quick count on the surface to get an idea. And I felt pretty comfortable that I was going to get the amount. And then I asked her, I said, look, how do you know how many are in here? And she goes, oh, I counted them. And I'm like, no, you just did like a surface count, like you estimated? No, she said she counted every one. So at this point, I just trusted her, what she was saying, that she had counted them. And, the ones I looked at appeared to be mostly sealed. So I said, okay. So I bought them. And she told me, hey, look, I've got some other stuff in my house. I've got more DVDs eventually, I still want to go through. And I said, look, I'm only interested in sealed. So if you want to put together something for sealed, that would be great. And then she also had a bunch of albums. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do another video of the albums and Laserdisc. So I picked up a 100. I'll talk about this at the end on what I got as far as albums and Laserdisc, because I ended up going back a second time. So this first time is 2,100 DVDs for $750. I made the purchase. I got them home, and I started going through them. And I'm going to show you kind of where I'm at this point. So I finished processing the first 2,100 DVDs. Well, I haven't processed them all. I went through and I pulled out all the used ones. And the used ones were primarily Blockbuster rentals. So not great. I mean, generally, those are probably worth 25 to 50 cents on the resale market. I'm sure they would go for maybe $1 at, say, a flea market or something like that. But that's not my thing. I don't want to sit at a flea market all day long and try to sell movies for $1. So anyway, I did pull out all of them, but there were a handful of some decent used ones, and I've got those separated out. So I'm going to show you those. And then I also have started processing the shipments. I haven't started, but my sister-in-law does my shipments for me. She has started going through and processing. So I'm going to show you, I've got 115 of the 2,100 already, loaded into Inventory Lab as a shipment created. I'm going to show you what my projected profit is based off of that. And then I also want to show you these ones that I'm going to send in that were used. So out of the 2,100, I pulled out that were mostly sealed. So my first issue was how many of the mostly sealed were actually sealed and not. And I was hoping over 50% and closer to 75. Well, it turns out 225 used ones out of the 2,100. So I'm ecstatic about that. I'm super excited that, almost, I've got, what is that, over 1,800 are sealed. And so only 225 are going to be throwaways. And out of that, actually 225 I've got set aside. I've got another 4 or 5 here that were decent that I can resell. And I've actually already just sold one. It just sold a few minutes ago. So let me start with that. And I'm going to show you. So I pulled this one out. So this is open, it's used, but it's a dual Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2. So it's a double feature. This is not a rental. You can see it's got a sticker on there for like $3. Again, I paid 35 cents for each of these. Inside, it's got the disc here is in excellent condition. It's got the insert. I mean, it's tight in there, so I don't think it's ever been taken out or played or anyway. There's no scratches or anything on it. As you can imagine, Halloween is a month or two away, and this thing, the sales rank is insane on this. On Amazon, it's under 1,000. This just sold for me. Now, Amazon was selling this. Obviously, it's a popular disc, but they ran out. And Amazon was selling this for like $6.99 new, and they ran out a couple weeks ago. So I happened to scan this, and I was like, whoa! Looked at the sales rank, looked at the price. The price going was like $16 new. And I decided, hey, they're going to run out because it's just individual sellers selling these, and they didn't have like hundreds or thousands of them. And that's the sales rank was below 1,000. They're flying. And so I listed mine for $19.99, used, very good condition, merchant fulfilled, because I just, I didn't want to take the time. It's taken like over a month for shipments that are going into Amazon to get checked in and ready to go. So I didn't want to wait that long and risk Amazon coming back into stock. So I listed it for $19.99, and like 30 minutes ago, this thing sold for $19.99. So already, that's going to cost me, it's like $1.50 or something in fees. It's going to cost me $3 to ship. It's 4 ounces. It's going to go in a poly mailer. It's shipping out tomorrow. Somebody's getting a copy of this, but $18 in profit already off of one of the used ones. So if I can make money off of the used one, I'm even more excited about that. So this is getting shipped out tomorrow. And then I pulled out, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more used ones that are good money. I'm going to send these into Amazon to FBA them because they're not time sensitive for Halloween. And in addition to all the new ones that are going in. So let's talk about, before I get into those other used ones, I'll tell you that. So it's important when you're buying bulk, like what's the source? So the source in this case was a lady, the husband had passed away, and he was a collector, not just a movie collector. He collected all kinds of stuff. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff. He has books. He has this huge book collection. And she started showing me some of these books, and she was showing me like they were illustrated by this artist. I mean, these were $1,000 books. And I'm not a bookseller, but there's money to be made there, and she wasn't going to give these things away. She wasn't going to give them, she wasn't going to sell them for a couple bucks. She was talking to me about it, and I was like, look, I'm not a book guy, but she was talking about either wholesaling them or giving them to doing an auction or something like that. So he had books, hundreds of albums. She threw out a ton of albums. I picked up some albums. So this wasn't like a closeout store that was just dumping a bunch. It was the actual collector. And that's what made me, actually another thing that made me confident in buying the lot was that it was coming from a collector. If it had just been another reseller, that had discarded, it had gone through, pulled out all the good stuff and just was trying to offload the rest. And that can happen. So you got to be careful. You got to kind of feel out, that's all part of the risk. You got to kind of feel out the source where it's coming from. So I felt bad for the lady. Obviously she's had it's been a long time she's having to go through all this stuff. I mean, and she's listing a lot of the stuff herself, trying to sell a lot of the stuff. But she was so happy to get rid of these DVDs, and I'm happy to take them. Because let me show you where we're at so far on the new ones that are going to go into Amazon. So we just started listing these. I'm going to make this full screen. So this is Inventory Lab, and these are the movies over here on the right. And down here at the bottom, you can see, so I've got 115 SKUs, 115 total items. So, and that's another thing is, another concern when you're buying a bulk lot is, are you going to get a bunch of duplicates? Which if you were getting like 100 of, this one movie and it was a sales rank of like, 150,000, that's not good. You don't want that. So turns out there's a couple duplicates in here, but very few. very few. So you can see right here, if you look at this, that it's 115 unique. So these are all unique SKUs. The average sales rank's 85,000. Okay, so that's not great, but it's not terrible. So under 100,000, which is good for movies. Total sales dollars, 2,100. My total buy cost at 35 cents. So these are calculated at 35 cents a piece. And look at the profit number, 1,237.98. So as you can see off of that $750 this for the 2,100, I've already made, or I'm going to be making my money back easily. Plus I'm in at a $500 profit just off of 115, and so almost another 2,000 to go. And in addition to that is the used ones that I pulled out. So let me show you those. So there were a couple of good ones in here and a couple of Miramax ones, which apparently do pretty well. But I'll show you these. There's these four right here. Here's one. This is out of print, An Unfinished Life. And I wish I had these pulled up, but I already, let me see if I can get these pulled up because I just listed them. Or I just added them into my inventory. So I have Unfinished Life. I've got, this is a Miramax Classic Restoration. I've got Existenz. And I've got Ivanhoe. So these were all, let me see if I can get these pulled up so you can see what I'm listing them for. So these are going in FBA. And if you can see on the screen, all right. So here's the four right here. Unfinished Life, $44.99. Ivanhoe, $19.99. Existenz, $24.99. And Restoration, $39.98. All right, so pretty good right there. If these sell for that, they may come down, depending. 40, 45, so easily another $100. 45, a little over $100 in movies right here. Minus in sales, minus FBA fees. And then there were two more here. There was the Three Tenors. This one, $29.99. Okay, so another $30. So we're closer to 150 there. If I add that up, 45, 65, 25 is 90, plus 40 is 130. Yeah, and 30. So we're at closer to 150 after before fees. And you can see the sales rank on these. Sales rank's not terrible on these. I mean, we're talking 80,000, 128, 67, 82, and 28. Now you can see here right below is the Halloween Town that's already sold. You can see it's inactive, out of stock. Look at the sales rank on that, 759, which is insane. That is a great, anything under 1,000 is flying. And there, you can see it right there. I sold it for $19.99. All right, so I've got one more that I wanted to show you. This was in there, Two Fat Ladies. It's a series or season. So Two Fat Ladies, the BBC's favorite cooking show and funniest cooking show. Complete 4-series collection. Unfortunately opened. All right. So it's 4 discs. They are in mint condition. So it's like new, like they opened it, but then, it's got the little insert. All right. Doesn't sound like anything you or I would ever watch, although it might be kind of fun to put this on and watch it. I bet it's hilarious listening to these. Price on this, it's getting listed $99.99. And you can see new, it's $138.94 with a sales rank of $54. All All right, so that's not. It's I'm not. These aren't unrealistic. I mean, that's what this is selling for. The cheapest MF is like $80 or $90, and so I'm going to list. Mine's going to be prime, $99.99, and like new condition. Mine was the only going to be like new condition. So where was I at? 150 plus another 100. So I'm at $250 in sales just off of the used that I pulled out. That's in addition to currently I'm looking at about 1,200 so far off of the first 100. So I'm really excited. This is going to be potentially, a big score. Here's the thing. So she ended up contacting me and said that she had another 1,500 DVDs, all sealed. And so, of course, I said, yeah, I want them. And she negotiated at the same price. It was 35 cents. And I'm like, it was over 500. And, it's like closer to 6. And I said, how about let's make it an even 500? And she said, okay. And so I went back out to her house. I picked up the additional, I gave her another $500. I picked up an additional 1,500 DVDs, all sealed. So I don't have to go through these. These are going to go straight to my sister-in-law is going to process these. So I'm going to be sending in, over 3,000 DVDs into Amazon. And I've looked at these. These are, they had a lot of them had Big Lot stickers on them. They had, some of them, the Walmart stickers, a lot of Walmart stickers, Big Lot stickers. These were bought retail. There were, Books A Million, or Books A Million, like bookstore stickers on a lot of them. So these are all legitimate. I mean, they weren't like Chinese, knockoffs. So I feel pretty confident that these are legitimate. Now, the only issue is I can't prove it. So, but I'm going to sell them as new. We'll, fingers crossed that I don't get any, I don't have any issues with buyers complaining. But I'm pretty happy. I'm definitely going to make, I stand to make a ton of money as long as everything goes smoothly. And then when I did go, when I went back to the lady, I went to her house this time, and I picked up 100 total, 75 albums, 25 Laserdisc. If you don't know what Laserdiscs are, they were the go-between, or the in-between, between VHS and DVDs. So to get the movies on a disc, the technology wasn't there yet for the DVD, for the small disc. So they put them on these record size, they called them Laserdiscs. So it's really cool. I used to have a Laserdisc player. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I had a handful of Laserdiscs. These things were $200 to $300 of players back in the day, of course. And they're pretty much gone now. But these Laserdiscs will sell, not very quickly. They're very slow sellers. I picked up the 100 total items for $60, so 60 cents a piece for the Laserdisc and the vinyl. Now, here's the thing. Most of them are sealed, and that's what I was excited about. So I picked up mostly sealed. Now, some of the items, some of the albums, not that great. They're probably not great sellers, but some were. There was a Beatles album in there. There was there's like a Grease album. Now, that one wasn't sealed, but I've sold that in the past. I know it does okay. So I was just excited to get those. I'm going to go through those. I'm going to do another video next time on the albums and show you kind of what I got, just because I think it's kind of neat. And so I'll be doing that probably the next video. So I hope you found this, interesting. Again, I want to kind of make it as a teaching tool because, for the most part, you're not going to make thousands of dollars off of DVDs for the most part. But you can, if you find them out of print, sealed ones, are good. And even if you can't, if you're restricted on Amazon, they will sell on eBay. Generally not for as much, but they're easy to ship. What I love about DVDs, they're easy to ship, easy to list. It's a scan and barcode. If you're putting on eBay, it's to take a picture of the front, picture of the back. Easy to list, easy to ship. They go into a 0 bubble mailer or a 1 or whatever it is, and they're 4 ounces, $3 to ship if you're selling individually. So this one, like I said, it will be shipping out tomorrow, bubble mailer. It's going to cost me $3 in postage. and that'll be going out to somebody off of Amazon. Everything else, though, I'm sending in FBA. Now the used ones, I've got 225 left. I've got them all in a bin. I put them on Facebook Marketplace. I'm gonna try to sell them as a lot. I put $100. I did this yesterday. I've had zero response. Zero. And I figure that's less than 50 cents a piece, and I'm getting no interest. So worst case scenario is, I almost give them away, or I do. Maybe I have to sell them for $50, or I just, give them away. I could literally go through individually. I looked at most of them are going to sell in this, $6 to $7 range probably on Amazon, which is probably not worth the time that it's going to take to list them. Because by the time the fees come out, you're making less than $1, plus I'm paying 50 cents to process them. So I'm tempted to individually go through and kind of mess with them, but I probably will my goal is to sell those as a bulk, try to get what I can out of it. But again, it's all going to be gravy at this point, because I'm hoping to make several $1,000s off of these DVD hauls. I'll keep you posted as the sales, as these things hit the warehouse, as I get all of them. Once I have them all processed, I will definitely tell you what the projected profit is, and then I'll do a what is sold, and you'll see all the DVDs that have been selling. So if you'll stay tuned to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you can find out how we're doing on the DVD haul, how they're selling, how many, what the projected profit's going to be, and make sure you like and comment below, and I would appreciate that, and that keeps us up in the search engine rankings. And let me know, comment below if you have ideas on what you would like to see in future videos. I would love to hear it. And stay tuned for that next video coming up probably sometime the next week on the album and Laserdisc haul. And all from the same lady. For $60, you got 100. Thanks a lot, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.